Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family, Patreon family, Hearts Home family, EEARTS family.
Hello, 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 hello.
We are family.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
We are family.
We are family.
And thank you guys again for your support over at Patreon, where again, it does help the channel, helps us to keep going. And I thought we would bring this up because we saw that it was 106 years ago today. Yep. Wait a minute. May 13th? No, I thought it was October 13th. Oh, yes, it is today.
From May through October.
Yes, that's right. It started in May. Francisco, Jacinta, and Lucia. Yeah, well, we've been doing so much reading. I read a whole book last night, by the way, and I'll share that with you guys in probably EEARTS. I think it belongs. But going back to the original line of thinking there, 106 years ago today, the miracle of Fatima, what they called the miracle of Fatima, occurred, where the sun appeared to dance. And many people, in this age, it's the apocalypse, it's the unveiling. Many people understand that when Ezekiel is describing his wheels, he might be talking about a UAP UFO. Yeah. Or when Moses was seeing the light that was guiding them, a pillar of fire or a cloud, again, it could be a ship. And so when the vision happened in Fatima, the reality is it was actually a ship that these people were seeing. Although the children were receiving information from the one that we would call Mother Mary, which is one of our main guides. And I would love to, I will link this for you guys. If you have missed this one, a year ago we did the True Prophecy of Fatima finally revealed, the one the Vatican and the controllers don't want you to know. Yeah, because it's not bad. It's actually talking about the time that we are in, and that which is coming just a little bit after all the chaos starts to calm down and subside. An all new epoch in time, an all new era, an all new age. He said the new age thing. Oh my God, demons are galore.
So many demons, I tell you. I know. It's a really curious energy, though, that these two time frames bring about. There was quite a lot of ETs watching then, and I can tell you now there's a lot of ETs watching now, and there's some that are strictly non-interference that bring guidance, and then there's others that encapsulate very large groups of people, and that can be considered interference. But there's beings that are thinking that they're doing the right thing regardless. So we have different levels of beings coming in very chaotic times here on the planet. And I'm actually looking at this, and the message that Mother Mary does bring is so beautiful. And we have so many different aliens just like watching. Everyone's watching. Now is a time where I wouldn't be surprised if people did individually get information from some of these sacred beings. And I wouldn't be surprised if we did have another mass sighting, and we have the internet now, but back then was a little bit different. We didn't have the mass media, yet they were still able to record some of this stuff. And these beings, like I said, they were not doing the wrong thing. They felt that they were doing the right thing with showing themselves to mass amounts of people, but there's a line there.
Yeah, and again, Mary wasn't up in the ship, too. We have to be clear about that. Mary was not on the ship. She is at a higher density, and so in some ways you could view it as she's beyond the 3 and 4D at this point in time. But she is in reality where most of the Galactic Federation is on 5D. But they are watching. They are definitely praying and sending positive energy to us. And you can ask Mary, you could ask Yeshua Jesus, you could ask the Galactic Federation, you could ask Babaji, you could ask the archangels, anybody that you feel comfortable with for help. And absolutely ask and you shall receive. But what her message was of peace. And what happened was, what did we get from the Catholic, the Vatican? Yeah, what do we get from the controllers? Because, again, the Vatican is just about as high up the dark food chain as you can get. It truly, truly is. It is the control. It's one of the major pieces and parts of the control structure on the planet. And again, when you talk about the Pope and the cardinals, and then you talk about certain families, the Red Shields and others, when you talk about George S. and we could go on, Gil Bates. Yeah, these are people that, these beings do interact with non-human beings. They do interact with non-human beings. They understand. In fact, Pope Leo said the myth of Christ has served us well. He literally said that. Because Yeshua himself would not approve of what modern Christianity, or for that matter, modern Islam is. It's a distortion of the beliefs that, they weren't even preaching belief systems, because that's up to the individual. See, this is the thing. They wouldn't ever preach a belief system. They would just simply tell you how the universe works and let you develop your own guidelines to go by.
Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to explore, research, expand, have our own individual journey. And this is what so many of these beings come to honor.
Yeah, and so you see thousands of Catholics gathered in Fatima on the eve of the anniversary of the sun miracle of Fatima, and they were singing Ave Maria. Well, again, Mary is an absolute wonderful soul, a beautiful soul that is still there and very imminent for any of us that want to reach out to her. So is Mary Magdalene, and so is Yeshua. The thing with Fatima was, again, she had talked to the children, but what everybody witnessed was actually mid-fourth level beings showing themselves in order to kind of bring hope, but at the same time they were kind of breaking that cardinal rule of non-interference. But they did not have bad intentions. Again, they want to help the planet shift perspective.
Mm-hmm. And beings are all different. They've developed their own system of belief in what they feel is going to be advantageous. I mean, there's so many of them up there. They are cheering humans on. They are watching us. They're like at the edge of their seats. Some are nail biting. Some are just doing what they can to channel in and give guidance. But right now, what we have an atmosphere full of beings who are just watching.
Absolutely. And so many of them are rooting for us to wake up. They really, really are. Because when we wake up to a certain level, we can join the galactic party, so to speak. So on your left, you have Jacob Rothschild. On your right, you have Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, and Grand Master of English Freemasonry. Wow. See, yeah, it looks like it's all in the family, doesn't it? And we've talked about how Prince Charles is literally related to Vlad Tepes, Vlad the Impaler, the historical Dracula. And Elizabeth Bathory, which I don't want to get really dark, but yeah, absolutely. She had a bathing habit that was very particular in order to maintain her youthfulness. It is a family affair when we talk about those that work with the dark control system. It's pretty obvious. And so again, when you look at the crown, right, you got a prince here. We were talking about kings and princes, and we're talking about these elite families and how it stays in the family. When you look to, the Bible that we have, King James, the founder of Freemason lodges, and he was the head of all Masonic lodges in the UK and Scotland. Again, a Freemason's Bible. Yeah, and again, so many people that haven't done any sort of scholarship themselves, except for whatever they've been taught, on Sundays or maybe Wednesday night Bible studies. They just automatically think King James, that's got to be the best version, right? And yet again, not understanding that there were 200 plus Gospels, and not understanding that the oldest Gospels, complete Gospels that we have, are actually 300 to 400 years AD, so well after, and actually in the timeline of which the construction of modern day Christianity, which again, the Catholic Church was the first church, Roman Catholic, and Constantine, the Emperor of Rome, who lived between 280 and 337 AD, was the one that actually said he had a vision, conquer in the sign of the cross. And instead of being pagan, he converted everybody to their version of Christianity, which came about after a series of different councils, starting with the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. And so there were so many people professing themselves to be Christians, but they had various ideas on who Jesus, Yeshua, really was. Some thought he was just a rabbi. Some thought he was a god, per se. And, there wasn't agreement on a lot of things. And there are a lot of contradictions all throughout the Bible, including the 4 Gospels, if we really look at them. So again, what you have here is the controllers taking a very important person on a very important mission of enlightening humanity and using it to benefit themselves. And using it to turn it into a blood sacrifice, and another way to basically keep us divided and at each other's throats instead of helping each other out. Many believe that Yeshua was a Essene. The Essenes, interestingly enough, they tried to separate themselves from the rest of society because they felt the rest of society was too toxic. It was too hard to live a healthy, good, proper spiritual life, so to speak. So they lived outside of the normal society. And the reality is we're going to be facing a time soon when we will have to decide, are we going to be in the system or are we going to be outside of the system? So we're going to be given the same choice. Are we going to take the route of the Essenes and develop alternative systems outside of the system so that we do not get tainted by the system? Because again, many people have remarked about the mark of the beast and all that, and the technology in play, different frequencies in play, and certain substances which will lower frequencies. And so, this is from a little quiz on the Essenes. We've done numerous videos on the Essenes. And again, I would recommend, if you want to go ahead and look to see, what have we done? Just hit the little search button there, and you could type in, Yeshua, and you could put it into Hearts Home, EEARTS, or you could put it into Evolutionary. Oh, message from Yeshua. Yeah, all these are messages from Yeshua and about Yeshua. So again, just utilize that, because I do see a lot of people with questions, and yeah, I know there's a lot of videos out there, but yes, we have covered so much of this, and we don't mind going over it again, just to give clarity. So again, the Essenes, they lived very simply. They lived outside of society because it was the same system as now. The exact same system was in play. Sure, the times looked different, but the same system, and they understood they could not be the very best version of themselves deep within the system of the beast.
Mm-hmm. So we're coming up on a time where we all have an opportunity to come together more than ever, bring our hearts together to help those that are still being pushed around, shoved around. Nobody deserves the type of things that are happening to those over there in Israel or anywhere else. Nobody should be ever treated that way. And I do hope heart chakras are opening up regardless of boundaries and helping people, because we're all human. We're all here for a purpose. We should never allow anything to separate us like that.
No, absolutely, especially in these times. You remember the Beatitudes, those are the things that, well, that was like my mother's favorite part, was the Beatitudes. And I think it is so many people's favorite part. Blessed are the peacemakers. Yeah, absolutely. When the whole world is turning into absolute turmoil and seems like it's going to destroy itself, it's best to do like the Essenes and to hold a higher frequency and to step outside it. Again, an eye for an eye leaves everybody blind, does it not? So I hope you guys got something from this. And again, to make it quite simple, I'll reiterate what the basic message of Mary was, and that was that you're witnessing the end of this dark system. And yeah, the times are going to be trying, but it's the end of this system. So there is a new era, a new age is upon us. And that very term, new age, is in the Bible, by the way. So no fear, just keep putting out the positive vibes and do not allow yourself to be pulled down into the negative drama. But at the same time, obviously, be prepared and be alert. Much love, Source bless, and namaste.
Namaste.